Chairman. Mr. Hart, you implied, and you didn't expand upon it, that you're going to look at the cars themselves, whether or not more resilient cars could better protect passengers in crashes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Have you looked at that previously?
Yes, we've been looking at passenger car crashworthiness for quite a few years.
And what can we design? Mr. Boardman, I believe these cars are what era, 70s?
They started being delivered in about 1975.
And have you asked to replace them?
We have a plan to rebuild these cars, and we are replacing some cars at this point in time, the ones that were built in the 40s.
And in the 40s?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you going to somehow improve their resilience in the case of crash?
Our expectation is to be able to use crash energy management, which is something that the entire passenger industry is beginning to do.
But these current cars don't meet whatever?
They do not.
They do not. And what would that take?
In terms of dollars or time?
Yeah. I mean, have you asked for this money?
If we asked for replacement of all the equipment we have, we're probably talking $3.5 to $4 billion.
Have you made a request?
We have made requests for rebuilding. We haven't, and we've made some requests for replacing.
Okay. And what happened to those requests?
The request for replacing was a complex request, because if they were long-distance trains or they weren't receiving enough revenue for us to be able to pay back.
But the bottom line is, were you allocated the money or not?
No, sir.
Okay. So Congress denied you the money?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, back to Mr. Hart, do you believe that we could either rehab these cars he's talking about in a way that would increase resilience and survivability, or do you think they need to be totally replaced?
Well, thank you for the question. That's one of the things we'll be looking into, and we'll look into it here just as we are currently with the WMATA accident in terms of the crashworthiness of their cars. We're looking into what it will take to improve.
Pull your microphone closer, please.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. We're looking into that, yes, both for this accident as we are with the WMATA accident in terms of the crashworthiness of the cars. We don't know yet whether it would be new cars or whether these can be fixed.
Okay. When I look at photos, I mean, the locomotive looks pretty intact, and of course that's new construction, and the engineer obviously survived. Yet that first car I've never seen, and I heard some first responders say they'd never ever dealt with anything like that before. So, I mean, that implies, are there in other nations or elsewhere around the world where they have modern railroads, do they have more crashworthiness in their passenger cars?
That will be part of our investigation, is what other countries are doing in this respect, because we are very concerned about making sure that we are the leading edge of crashworthiness for our passenger cars.
Okay. Ms. Feinberg, on the positive train control, I appreciate what you said about you're going to push really hard. Commuter railroads are one of the greatest laggards here, and they have asked for help from Congress. Congress has not been forthcoming. How are we going to deal with the commuter railroads? And many of those operate on a margin or at a loss now to get this technology installed.
That's right. We've asked for $875 million to assist commuter railroads in implementing PTC. We've also opened up the RIF program for railroads who are looking for loans that will assist with PTC implementation. So we just completed work on I believe, $967 million loan to MTA that will assist with PTC implementation. And then as we approach the deadline, one of the things we have asked the Congress for authority for previously is to work with railroads who absolutely won't miss the deadline, or who absolutely will miss the deadline, to work with them to raise the safety bar in the interim while they are still working to implement.
So they would adopt some sort of interim operating changes to compensate for the lack of positive train control?
Exactly, and they would have to go through an approval process and work with us. We would continue to hold their feet to the fire to make sure we were working towards PTC implementation.
And would you look at a stepped process, those who are really trying and have been delayed by the FCC or otherwise, versus those who just haven't tried at all?
I would expect it would be merit-based, correct.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.